You know, I'm not expert in that, but I do know that when I went to school, I would get bored real quick and start drawing, or stop paying attention. And my mom said, "Your teacher said you didn't pay attention. Why you pay attention?" When they get to some stuff I don't know, I start paying attention. That's what I used to say. Yeah. Like, for real. I used to be like, I know all that already. Yeah. I'm bored. Like, why we keep talking about 2 times 3, 2 times 4, 2 times 5? It's repetitious. I know that. It ain't but 10 numbers, 0 through 9. You know, so. But as a kid, I didn't understand that they were teaching us based on what their ideal of what kids could and couldn't handle. You know, but I think kids are underestimated a lot too. Mm-hmm. You know, it's almost like you dumb the kids down, you slow them down too much. Yeah. It's like you can learn how to drive. You can pay attention to 1,000 things. You can read signs, you can see people across the street, you can see that kid over there. You operate in the vehicle, you do all this, but they teach you to read. We are the living. It's like you're supposed to be able to just look at that and read it and go about your business, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because if you can drive, how come you read like that? You know, it's how you're using your brain. It's just like I said, you might have a powerful brain, but you know, by the boot that software up to a powerful mind, then you just waste it. It's wasted. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we all know what I'm going to say. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. You know, I like this. I don't know where it came from. It was a comedian or something. He said, "Waste is a terrible thing, not the mind." Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I think we should just kind of. It's hard because like now it's almost to the point where you don't want to treat kids, you know, like they're adults because they're not, you know. But at the same time, you don't want to put them up on this pedestal where they can't, you know. Like I don't agree with all that. Everybody won. We all going to get pizza and stuff. Like you lost. You lost. Practice tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. Because when you get grown, if it's 10 people going for a job and they got 2 openings, 8 people about to be real pissed off. Yeah, and that's what you learn when you're young. Yeah, you know, when you have competition, and when you learn that sometimes you don't come out on top. Yeah, that's not to. You don't want to kill their self-esteem, but at the same time, you don't want to make them think that the world is going to coddle them and tell them that they always won when they didn't, because you won't be getting a paycheck when you didn't get the job. Yeah, and that's going. And to me, that's always. It's like if I go in and try to. If I want to be a weightlifter, I have to start out with light weights, you know, work my way up to heavyweights. Mm-hmm. I go in there to try to snatch up 800 pounds, I'm gonna hurt myself. But that's what's happening to these adults now, which is why this is the first generation that's ever done worse than their predecessors, because they're getting big surprises, you know, when they get out into the real world. Yeah. You know, and you can hurt somebody trying to protect them sometimes, overprotect them, you know. I got this little philosophy, you know what I'm gonna say. Well, I say you gotta let the baby touch the stove. Yeah. You know, I ain't saying let him touch a nuclear reactor, but it's a stove. You know, he keeps trying to touch it. He keeps trying to, no, that's hot. No, that's hot. No, that's hot. No, that's hot. It took him like 1,000 times. Let him touch it. He'll tell you it's hot next time. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's hot. You know what I'm saying? That's hot there. That's what life is. Life, you know, is supposed to, you know, kind of weed out the weak ones and teach you, if you're strong enough to survive, how to survive. Mm-hmm. But that's what parents are for. Parents are for guidance, not for overprotection. You gotta let them experience the world, because if you don't, then when they do get out in the world, they won't be prepared for it. Exactly. You know? And school is kind of a microcosm of that. Yeah, it should be. You know what I'm saying?
So if we were to go along that line, let's talk about the social emotional components of teaching. Because I'm listening to you talk about the teachers that you never failed in conduct, you didn't get a bad grade in conduct. So are you equating teachers that were influential in your life with those who were, they had a social emotional component, that it wasn't just about the academics?
Right. There was something there that they cared. They did things that they weren't required to do. It was just, they were just good teachers. I don't really know how to quantify that, but it's kind of like just saying that these people did this job not just because they could did a lot of jobs to pay the rent. They did the job because they loved it, and they really did care about educating kids, and not just educating kids, but making kids into, you know, fine adults. And those are the teachers that I think, and they have all kinds of different methods. Some of them funny, Some of them no nonsense. Some of them, use props. I have a teacher named Mr. Peterson. He told the funniest stories. And we used to get out of doing work in class because all you had to do was get them going. And he'd talk to the bell ring. But you still somehow learned in his class, But he was like I think probably in the 60s he was a hippie. So you get to tell him those stories about, the old stories about the late 60s, early 70s, and he'll just ran on. And then the bell ring, oh man, y'all made me talking. We'll do it tomorrow, But people love those teachers. They're just teachers. You guys are teachers, so you know what I mean. You got some kids that just love you more than other kids. You got teachers that you may know that all the kids always love these particular teachers, and you may not even visually see what it is different about them. It's just something about them, and it may be the energy or whatever. But I don't know. Like I said, it's not all academic. It's not just something that's in the core curriculum or something that's just in the books. Because if that was the case, then everybody that just followed the curriculum would be a good teacher. But and when I say good and bad, I don't mean it in a negative or positive way. I just mean effective. You know what I'm saying? So, because you may love what you do and you may be trying hard as you can, but you may not be that effective. You know what I'm saying? And that would be a shame. But I don't believe that any teacher that really, really cares is not going to be effective. I think that's the first part of it, caring. That's my opinion anyway. I have no way to prove that, but I think when they really care, and they really put that love into it, and love can't be, you can't write that in the core curriculum. When you put that in there, I seen teachers get kids rides home. I seen teachers go knock on people's doors when their kids didn't come to school. Like for real. So those type of people, they stand out, and people 20, 30 years later, they still remember those teachers, and they hope that their kids have teachers that are that gave a damn as much as their teachers did. I would.
The kids know it's for real too.
Yeah. One thing about kids, they see through all the BS.
Yep.
You can't. Well, kids, they say, like they say, do as I say, not as I do. But you can forget that kids don't do. Kids are gonna follow what they see to be the truth.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna recognize what they see. You can say anything, but they see what's going on. Even if they don't see it firsthand, they can feel it. Kids can feel it. They can feel your energy. You their mom, you their dad. They can feel it. They're supposed to be able to feel it. We can feel each other's energy.
Yeah.
So how can someone that's a direct part of you not feel yours? So
There you go.
it's kind of like I said the other day where you have to love yourself first. Obviously, you have to take care of yourself first before you can love and take care of anybody else. It's like you be on an airplane, they tell you if the mask drop down, put yours on first. They tell you that not to torture a kid. They tell you that because if you pass out, who's going to help you?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I just kind of, I'm real, it's funny because I spend my whole life coming up with all these different metaphors and analogies and stuff, but I'm pretty literal when it comes to the stuff that most people kind of take to be not literal. I'm real literal on that kind of stuff. It's simple to me. It makes sense.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, I say roll with it.
There you go.
Yeah. If that makes sense.
As a lyricist, can you discuss your creative process?
Well, for the most part, if it's something that's personal for my own library of stuff that I'm doing for myself, it can come from anywhere. It just comes from everything. Like, it's funny, music is rarely what I'm doing when I'm creating.
Yeah.
I can be watching movies, I can be, just whatever. And I just kind of I do anything that I can do to keep my brain from getting stuck or to keep from getting like a writer's block type of situation going. Sometimes I'm listening to music and I say, I'll cut that off, I'm getting stuck. And I go watch, Avengers or something, I look at a lot of cartoons, I read, I may draw, because I like art. That's why I say I love math, art, science. Those like, English wasn't even really my thing, and I end up being a writer. But I just kind of stay open is what it is. I don't block anything out. I just kind of let whatever come in. Sometimes I could be sitting there trying to write something and somebody may call me on the phone, or I may hear somebody, in the distance, say something, and it may spark an idea in my head. You know, I believe that inspiration comes from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And by me actually believing it and accepting it, you know what I'm saying? I don't fight it. You know, I just let it come in. If I'm working with a certain artist and they want me to do something on the record and I don't know them, what I do is before I do any type of writing or anything, I always talk to them, even if it's long distance, I talk to them on the phone. I always have a vocal conversation because text or email ain't gonna do it. I need to talk to them and see where they're at, see where their head's at, see what type of person they are, listen to some more of their music, see what the deal is, and then I can kind of start, and then I do the same thing I always do. Now sometimes I have music to listen to, and I let the music kind of just, I'm listening to the music and it's like I hear words on there already, and then I just kind of like decipher that and try to bring out the words that I hear so you can hear. And then sometimes I don't even have music, it's just words, you know, but it's just kind of, you know, like he was asking about my notebook. You look at my notebook, a lot of the pages is just like, what is this, a haiku? Like it's 2 or 3 lines, and then it's gone. One line here, a line here, empty space, line down there. I know I want that down there somewhere, but I don't want it right after that. So, you know, it's weird, like, that's why I got spoiled by the phone and the computer, because you can always take stuff out and put it in, move stuff down, copy and paste, you know. But that's kind of what I used to do, even with the pen. You'll see little arrows going to this, and you know what I'm saying, and Captain America on the side, you know. Tell where I got bored, where I fell asleep because the line, you know. But it's hard to say. It's not, my creative process is just being open to being creative, you know what I'm saying, and knowing that I'm not gonna just be, I can't just sit down and say, it's not like I'm making a cake, you know what I'm saying? I can't sit down and just say, okay, I need a half cup of this, half cup. It's never gonna work like that. I just kind of just get the blank paper or whatever, and I just start getting into my vibe, whatever that vibe is. I've been in a nightclub before and be like, I gotta write this down right quick, you know, get the idea, you know what I'm saying? And when it hits. And before I was a writer, I used to do a lot of drawing, because like I said, I love comic books coming up, so I drew superheroes and stuff all the time. I couldn't go to sleep sometime at night. I have an idea for a character in my head or some type of design, and I had to get up and do it. And then I could go to sleep. If I didn't do it, it would nag at me. You know what I mean? So, but whenever I find myself not being able to get the creative juices flowing, the last thing I ever do is try to force it. I just leave it alone. And then it'll come back to me, kind of one of those things where you're trying to think of somebody's name or something, and you say, well, I think about it when I'm not thinking about it. You know, that's kind of my thing. It's something, it's not really something you can teach. To me, it's something that you can teach through doing it and letting them see the experience of the product, and then you can tell them how you did it, and then tell them to go and try to find your, you know, kind of your niche or your, you know, how you would do it, you know. So that's just always what it was with me. I don't know. Sometimes words come easy to me. Sometimes they don't. But one thing I did do was make sure I built my vocabulary so I'd at least have the tools, you know. You know, we used to do this thing called, I don't know if this even exists anymore. We used to have this notebook. It's called Wordly Wise. And it's a little notebook that we had in English class. And what it did was it taught us all about words, different words and how you use them and syntax and all this different stuff through exercises that you did in the workbook. And it kind of reminds you of those little books you get in the store for your kids with the puzzles and different stuff in it, but it was in high school, so it was a little bit less kiddie. But that right there alone did a lot for me, because the exercises of how we would do it made you remember. You know, it was like a mnemonic device, you know what I'm saying? And you know, doing those little exercises helped. And once I realized that helped me rap, I was glad to do it. I was like, oh man, I need to know some words. You know, you got a guy say you want to be a rapper for a living. He's like, what I need English class for? So you can rap. You might want to, you know, you might want to learn how to speak English, because rapping requires you to speak English. But you know, you know, it's funny, man. You know, it's a lot of stuff that people used to always say that when I was in school. I ain't gonna never use this. I done used everything I said I won't never use before.
There you go.
Because I knew that I could use it, and that's it. You might not use it if you don't know how to use it. But I mean, I didn't actually use the formula for figuring out the hypotenuse of a triangle to measure something before because I didn't have no other way to measure it. I done did that. I was like, you know what? I'm about to use this, and I said I wasn't going to use it. I'm about to use A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Oh, well, like, tripping. I was like, I bet you it worked. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I always had a decent memory to be able to recall things. I think, well, I don't like to say good memory, I like to say good recall, because everybody got a good memory unless you get brain damage. It's just the recall factor. Mm-hmm. And that right there is mostly just exercise.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like any other muscle. You know, you use it and you find little things that'll help you. Like, I'll never forget this. I don't know if any of you guys ever seen a show called Facts of Life. Yeah. A long time ago, you know, Natalie and Tootie, the two best friends, they were studying for a test. So she was like, how do you remember all that? She was like, yeah, I use something to remind you. She was like, it was periodic table. She was like, well, how's gold AU? She said, I don't know, but I know how I remember it. It's like, imagine somebody stole your gold watch. You be like, hey, you come back with my gold watch. I heard that once, and when I was a kid, and I never forgot that December for gold was because that was funny as hell. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that type of thing, you know, you'd be amazed at just little stuff like that light a kid up, you know, and you'll start finding ways to do it on your own. You know, kids will start finding ways to remember stuff and all that. You know what I'm saying? Tying the string around your finger ain't gonna always work. That might work for some people. But with me, visuals help me a lot to remember things. Like I kind of if I'm listening to music, it's almost like I get a visual picture of the music. Mm-hmm. Like if it was Legos or something, and you got these Legos, but there's missing Legos. I try to fill in the missing ones with the words. You know, that's kind of the simplest way I can kind of explain it. You know what I mean? And then I'm trying to make, you know, I don't want to take away from it. I don't want to fight against it and put too many Legos in there. I just want to make it nice. You know, I want to finish the Lego, whatever we're trying to build. You know what I'm saying? And make it be right. So that's the balance. Is trying to figure out what words or what phrases or whatever melodies we're gonna put in there to complete this. Mm-hmm. And there have been times when we tried to write words for a song called Wind on Society of Souls. Excuse me, a group I was in called Society of Soul. Called Brainchild, and we tried to write lyrics to that song. They brought in other writers, and one day Sleepy said, you know what, this song just don't supposed to have no lyrics. And he got his dad to play saxophone on it. Mm-hmm. It just don't supposed to have no lyrics. Yeah. We bringing in writers, like people that write for a living, and we write. Yeah. And everybody else write. Nobody can really come up with nothing that really does this song any justice. So what we did was then put no lyrics on there, put a saxophone on it, and it came out to be a great song. So, you know, sometimes you just can't force it. You know, you gotta just let it be what it's gonna be.
I wasn't there to hear your lecture the other night, so
Okay.
I was field tripping actually in Atlanta. But what do you think has been the biggest influence on your worldview? And I mean, you talk about wanting to put the good in rap. Mm-hmm. Where'd that come from?
Well, a kind of a strange mixture of growing up loving heroes and stuff like that. Like, you know, they had clear cut philosophies of good and bad. You know what I'm saying? To a kid, that can be big because, you know, it can get confusing with all the gray area. And then my dad used to always talk to me about stuff all the time and just kind of tell me as a man, you're supposed to, you know, be a good person, and, you know, you look somebody in the eye when you talk to them, you shake that, you know, just different, you know, all the old school stuff, you know, that you would expect from your father, you know, that's doing what he's supposed to do. And then I had a good mom, you know, she always, you know, taught us well, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure none of it was perfect, but I think most of my views come from just having people that cared about me enough when I was young, even and not just my mom and dad, aunties, uncles, teachers, you know what I'm saying, older cousins. I was all over the place. Summertime, go to my auntie's house, and my dad might have had to work, so I'd stay with my auntie all day. I played with my cousins. It was like just having a strong family background and having them there to try to guide me away from doing the wrong thing and to do the right thing. Sooner or later, it just becomes habit. You know what I'm saying? If you follow, I didn't always do the right thing for sure, but but a lot of times when I was doing the wrong thing, I knew I was doing the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? And decided to do it anyway when I knew my mom was gonna tap me. But I think that my view basically comes from understanding that there's consequences for your actions and there's reward for actions. You know what I'm saying? So usually the reward comes from positive actions and the consequences come from negative actions. Directly related to it. And one of those things that instilled that in me, like I said, we got butt whoopings, point blank. We didn't get beat and abused, but we got whooped. If we did something wrong, because the reason my mom would do that, and she tell you, I did that because I love you. Because I'm showing you that think bad, when you do something bad things happen to you. Now, what you did wasn't the end of the world. That's why you just got a whooping. You know what I'm saying? But when you get older and grown and stuff, you're going to see that they'll think that people, are not even really fully adult. They'll never see the light of day again. You know what I'm saying? From one stupid mistake. And they can't go back and change it. Maybe if more, and they may have had people doing that for them, but maybe if they had more influences that were teaching them that the negative consequences come from the negative action, maybe they wouldn't have made that choice. Maybe. You can never know, but I'd rather have the background and of someone trying to teach me that and then go out in the world and not have it. Because the police don't care. Ignorance of the law ain't no excuse. They don't care. They don't want to hear you didn't know you couldn't do that.
So how do you think that we address the population of America that doesn't have that grounded background?
Well, that's the tough part. I think everybody has to do what they can do. Like, starting at home, and then like with you guys, our teachers, you can do what you can do, and I know they tie your hands a lot of times with all the stuff they got now. But, you can't say nothing to nobody. You can't, I know how it is now. You can't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Come on. I know my kid didn't do that. How you know you wasn't here?
Yeah.
We know more than you do because I was standing there looking at him when he did it. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to hear that. They want to argue with you like it's your fault. But on the same note, sometimes the kid isn't so bad. So, it could go either way. But I think that as a society, overall, I don't think we're that bad. You know what I'm saying? I think, especially in America, I think we're pretty good. But there are cases in point, where shit is way left, way, So it's just really, I think it goes back, to the lowest kind, do it like math and make it simple. Just keep it real, It's like, you don't want to tell this parent that their kid is like, got a behavioral problem or whatever, but hell, he do. Tell him. I'm just gonna, they might get mad, but hey, don't get mad at me. I'm trying to tell you so we can help him. You know what I'm saying? So I think all we can do in society is try to find better ways to prepare the kids. It goes back to the same thing. We just have to, and we may think this is the best way today, and 2 weeks from now we may think that another way is the best way. Because when you're teaching, you're learning too. I always believe, you know what I'm saying? And when you're dealing with people, a constant influx of different people year after year, year after year. And as society's values and different things like that change and all this different stuff comes into play, and then you got media and social media and all, there's so many factors now. The world is a much smaller place when it comes down to communication. I think that really the only thing you can do is do what you can do, short of doing something that you shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Just push the envelope as far as you can to help one another, because like I say, I really believe that when you hurt somebody, you're hurting yourself, and when you help somebody, you're helping yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I ain't been no angel my whole life. I did bad stuff, but I knew when I was doing it was bad. You know, I knew when I was, you know, tracking paint all over the living room or whatever it was, or running the bathtub over. I knew my mom would get mad about that, but I'm just being a badass, you know. But things that at that time that me and my buddies would get in trouble for are nothing compared to some of the stuff that goes on now. You know, in comparison. And I think desensitization has become, you know, one of the key factors. Like people, like you hear, oh, this kid brought a gun to school. People don't even flinch at that no more. It's like, oh yeah, did he? Okay, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, it used to be like, what? Oh my God, what? How in the hell did he get his hand? We need to fight. You know, don't you know now? What? You know,
It's Tuesday.
you know, somebody may get shot right in front of a kid. He saw it. That look realer than that on Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think it's I forgot the numbers, but I think they say average kid see like 100,000 deaths on TV before they're 2. On movies and TV.
Yeah.
100,000 violent acts or violent deaths or whatever. So, you know, that's just, you know, they desensitize. And the problem is that not only kids been getting desensitized, as, you know, the adults are desensitized now to the fact that the kids are desensitized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's deep.
Damn.
Desensitization.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's kind of like, yeah, you get the good with the bad. Like the generation gap now is probably smaller than it's ever been. Parents dress similar to their kids now. They listen to similar music and all that. But also, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the, not attitude, but I guess I'm going to say maturity level is similar to a kid too. So, you know, that's not the good part. That's the bad part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't have a kid raising a kid, you know, so, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to babble on, but, you know.
No, but you got me, one of my pet peeves is recently is that the problem with the United States is we have too many adults acting like children.
Exactly, exactly.
And, you know, look at Parkland High School in Florida. The adults started attacking the children. Oh, they weren't there. Oh, he couldn't get into Forest School.
Right.
Where are the
You're gonna
children?
sit here-
Examples of adults are.
Why would you berate a kid as an adult? Like what does that say about you?
Yeah.
You know, in his face. You know, what are you saying to him about adults? And then what are you doing to his self-esteem? And then you showing him a negative example. You show him it's okay to act like that. Or at least or you justify. It's almost like you ever get mad and go to fussing and won't nobody engage in your anger with you. Okay, that's gonna end real quick probably because you're gonna start to feel foolish.
Yeah.
But if somebody engages in it with you, it gives you a justification for continuing on with it. You know, what they call pouring gasoline on the fire. But like you say, and I wouldn't even say they act like kids. I'd say they're just childish. And they're not acting. That's how they are. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't like that.
And they can't help themselves. It's like this big trend that started with the sports, where people like went out there, like you actually went out there and hit a kid, bro. You're a grown man, or they go out, or they get in fights with the coaches, or whatever it is. It's like, come on, bro. Number one is they're playing a game. They're supposed to teach them camaraderie and discipline and all the rest of it, but you're completely going against the whole point of what they're out there for. Yeah. Because you want to be able to say that your kid is the best or whatever. But apparently he's not. If you got to do all that, you know, that's the point. Everybody can't be the best. That's where the word best comes from. You know what I'm saying? The best is to separate the person that's better from the motherfucker. Excuse my language, but that ain't. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but like I say, nah, y'all not getting pizza and ice cream. Y'all eat regular dinner. It ain't like you gonna go to bed without dinner. You eat what you was gonna eat anyway. But pizza and ice cream, they get that because you see that big trophy they got right there?
Yeah.
That's part of that. What you get is extra practices. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna learn that feeling is not rewarded in this world. It's just not.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. You don't have to cry about it. It doesn't say anything bad about you as a person because you may have failed at something you attempted to do. And I think that's where the problem lies. People take everything too personally. It's like, how are you getting mad at me because you failed to do something? Just because I was one of the facilitators of that arena or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, and like I say, kids get mad at teachers when parents get mad at teachers when their kids fail.
Yeah.
You know, but I remember when teachers got mad at parents. When your kids come to school without proper clothing and shoes, or come to school hungry, or whatever. So, you know, like it goes both ways. And like I say, it's all connected. It's just no way too disconnected. There's no way I can stab my hand and it don't hurt. It hurt. Because my hand's in my brain signal and say, bro, stop stabbing your hand.
Yeah.
But see, we desensitized, that used to be what they call a conscience or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We desensitized to the point where now people can go do something to somebody and just don't care. They don't feel nothing behind that a lot of times. And that's not normal. You know, when you hurt somebody, you're supposed to feel guilt. You're supposed to feel bad about it. You're supposed to not be able to sleep. You're supposed to want to apologize, you know, if it's something that you can come back from. But that's just disappearing, you know, and we so into machines and computers and whatnot, it's like you can't become an automaton, a robot that doesn't care or have feelings because, I mean, most of the universe is intangible. You can't see it, smell it, hear it, taste it. And I think most of a human being is intangible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have a body where we can interact, so I can do my own work and I can pick up pieces of paper because we live in the third dimension, but there's something else about us that is not explained in that same manner.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we kind of losing contact. We're not going to lose it, but we're losing connections with it. You know what I'm saying? We're losing connection with it. If that makes any sense, you know what I'm saying? It's just we just don't feel the same no more. You know what I'm saying? And I think it has a lot to do with just too many images too soon. Like kids need to be able to be a kid.
Yes.
That's the main thing. You know, 12 going on 20 sound cute, but it's not. You know, little girls out here dressing like not even grown women, prostitutes. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. You know, just saying it for what it is. You know.
Yeah.
It's like even a grown woman shouldn't be dressed like that. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell are you doing dressed like? How'd your parents let you out? You know,
Exactly.
you got you know, kids carrying guns and they ain't even never used a razor. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know what to do. You'll have it was a thing on Facebook one time where these guys over in Africa, they was like some paramilitary guys or whatever. They had been out there with their rifles. I don't know. I guess maybe they didn't think that chimpanzees were smart. Or that they had saw them, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Or that they had saw them shoot it before. He has a loaded rifle to a chimpanzee. Bro, he's like 98% the same as us, which means they're violent.
Yeah.
and which also means, and if they're not as advanced as us, we don't even know what to do with guns. Why you gonna give it to him?
Yeah.
You know, so then when the chimp starts shooting the gun all over the place, now they're running and ducking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has fingers.
Yeah.
Handing them the gun, he done seen you do it before, and they're almost as smart as we are.
Yeah.
So what I look like handing a gun to a baby, he doesn't know what to do with it. Just because he can pull the trigger don't mean he should.
Yeah.
You know, just because he can hold it in his hand or he can, you know, manipulate it doesn't mean he should be manipulated because he doesn't have the background, the training, the foresight, the conscience, or